We present a united front throughout NATO and in the Pacific. The Quad is, with the possible exception of India being somewhat shaky on some of this, but Japan has been extremely strong, so is Australia.
I believe that Indian foreign policy is characterized by independence and the concentration on real national legitimate interests. The same policy basis exists in the Russian Federation, and this makes us, as big countries, good friends and old partners, an important part of the international relations. We always respect each other's interests.
Clearly, leaders across the world have India on their minds. Last week, UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss was in New Delhi at the same time as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. US Deputy National Security Advisor Dalip Singh was also visiting the national capital around the same time. March also saw Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi come to New Delhi. Before Truss, Lavrov and Singh, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida conducted his first visit to India as Prime Minister. In front of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Japanese Prime Minister called out Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He said that Moscow's actions had shaken the foundation of international order. Prime Minister Modi, however, did not mention Ukraine directly. And that points to what's going on with all these foreign diplomats visiting India at the same time. The tug-of-war is on between two major blocs. There's the US, along with its allies in the West and the Indo-Pacific on one side. On the other end are Russia and China. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the sharp polarization that it has led to are the triggers, and India is the prize. So, what has put India in this position? Well, New Delhi has developed close ties with Washington in recent years. Along with the US, Japan, and Australia, India is a key member of the Quad grouping that seeks to counter an increasingly assertive China. However, India also has long-standing military and economic ties with Russia. All of this has put India in a unique position when it comes to Ukraine. India has called for a ceasefire and diplomatic solution to the ongoing crisis. It also refrained from backing a Russian resolution that sought to deflect the blame for the humanitarian crisis it has created in Ukraine. But that's not enough for the West, which has been pressing New Delhi to shift its position at the United Nations, where it has consistently abstained from resolutions criticizing Moscow for its actions. Then there is the fact that India continues to buy Russian crude oil, even as pressure mounts to isolate the Kremlin. Last week, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said India had already started buying discounted oil from Russia and had received 3 to 4 days worth of supply. Now that we have some sense of India's position, let's see what the various players involved want. For Russia, the goal is clear. Even if India is not on board with its invasion of Ukraine, Moscow will want New Delhi to continue its middle ground position on the war. And of course, Russia would want India to go on trading with it. But what else might the Russians and the Chinese want from India at a time when they stand isolated internationally?
For both China and Russia, as you know, China is going to be playing host to the BRICS summit in none too distant future. You also normally have something like the RIC summit, that is, the Russia, India, China summit, which takes place on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. Now, these are also very public events. So if it could be ensured that India does attend the BRICS summit, despite the problems at the India-China border, and is willing to also publicly sort of stand together with the leader of China and Russia on the sidelines of this summit. You look at the public projection that would mean that here are these three major powers who are standing together on the same platform, even if there are differences of opinion among them, say with respect to Ukraine, but not just with respect to Ukraine, with respect to several other issues, that could be of great public relations value to both China and Russia.
Now, let's come to the US and the Western Bloc. There's something that bothers them more than India not publicly criticizing Russia. The US and Australia condemned India for considering a plan to make rupee-ruble denominated payments using an alternative to SWIFT. The plan involves making payments using Russia's messaging system SPFS. The US and its allies fear such arrangements would undermine the sanctions imposed by them. And in what could be considered a warning for India, the US has said that there will be consequences for countries that actively attempt to circumvent or backfill American sanctions against Russia. While India deals with the challenges arising from the Ukraine conflict, it should also look at the emerging opportunities.
It is in the era of great change and transformation of the international geopolitical landscape that opportunities also arise for emerging countries like India to expand their diplomatic space, to be able to play a larger role. And so if we are in a situation where, despite this crisis, there is an interest among major countries in the world to try and strengthen their partnership with India, and they are willing to, in a sense, make certain not concessions, I would say, but expand the areas of cooperation with India in order to persuade India to either lean this way or that way. I think that is a good position to be in. After all, this was this was the logic during the time when India was professing the non-aligned policy, because it was able to get support both from the East as well as from the West, partly, because India was a, vibrant democracy. India was seen as a country whose positions, whatever stance India adopted, also had a great influence on other developing countries. So from that point of view, if India is tending towards a modern version of non-alignment in some sense, it can't be the same. But in terms of, really charting out a path for itself and seeking, stronger partnerships with those, with whom it shares, convergences on various issues, I think it is good for India in terms of expanding its international profile.
Relations with Moscow are important because of the defense and strategic ties with India. India has also found strategic convergence with the US, other Quad countries, and some Western nations when it comes to Chinese aggression. Equally important is the fact that trade volume with Russia is small compared to how much India trades with the US and its allies. These trade ties, take for example, Japan's recently announced investments, are vital for India. The government will have to find a way to deftly balance these diverging interests.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.